In 2019, Scott Borchetta sold Big Machine Records to Scooter Braun, which included the catalog of Taylor Swift's first 6 albums. He did this without offering Taylor Swift to buy back her music, meaning that her first 6 albums were now under the ownership of Scooter Braun. She viewed this as a betrayal, as Borchetta did this behind Swift's back without giving her a fair chance at owning her masters. This led to Swift's re-recording her first 6 albums so she can own the rights to her work. This was a massive success as fans supported her re-recording journey. Each Taylor's Version album reached number 1 on the Billboard 200, and 2 songs from her re-recorded albums hit number 1, which includes Is It Over Now, which is on 1989 Taylor's Version, and All Too Well 10-minute version that is on Red Taylor's Version. Fans even went as far as to prohibit themselves from listening to any song or album that was not yet owned by Swift in order to not give any sort of support to Braun, who now owned the masters to her first 6 albums. Now let's talk about the Eras Tour. The Eras Tour was a record-breaking tour set out by Taylor Swift starting in March of 2023 and ending in December of 2024. The Eras Tour included 21 different countries with a total of 149 shows. The entire set was over 3 hours long, so that it could feature her most popular songs from almost every album or era that Miss Swift had. It is the highest grossing tour of all time, breaking $1 billion in 2023 and surpassing $2 billion in 2024. It is estimated that a total of over 10 million people attended the Eras Tour, where they all got to live a shared experience of trading friendship bracelets, hearing surprise songs unique to their show, and reliving moments from their past in terms of reliving Taylor's old songs. Now let's talk about the feminism of it all. Taylor Swift setting out on a record-breaking tour while also re-recording her first 6 albums was an act of defiance against a male-dominated industry. She was the main figure in the cultural and pop cultural zeitgeist all throughout the early 2020s, to the point where she was inescapable. This showed a strong and powerful female figure in the music industry, an industry known to hurt and abuse women for monetary gain. An industry known to silence and suppress victims from speaking their truth by discrediting, humiliating, and even blackmailing them. Of course, people wanted to support Taylor Swift. She represented a woman being taken advantage of by men in a predatory industry and still powering through it in order to reclaim power and personal autonomy. And she wasn't just powering through it, she was succeeding tremendously. It showed the resilience a woman can have when she is fighting for a right or a cause she truly believes in. It showed empowerment and credibility that was indestructible. We all got to witness the creation of an empire that is ruled by Taylor Swift. It paid off. Taylor Swift is now one of the first female artists to reach billionaire status. She is the first artist in Grammy history to win 4 Album of the Year awards. She holds the record for the highest grossing tour of all time, and her most recent album, The Life of a Showgirl, has the largest first week sales in history, selling over 4 million album equivalent units. It was a very empowering time for her indeed. But what did it do for all women? For those 2 years, women and girls everywhere got to enjoy a shared experience of enjoying the music they loved with the artists that they loved. It was a celebration of femininity and a collective experience. It was a great way to be a part of a community so large and worldwide, especially after dealing with the isolating effects of COVID. It was a time where women could enjoy something without it being mocked severely. This was a woman's interest that was largely celebrated and supported instead of being demeaned and ridiculed. The media was finally on the side of women and supporting what they enjoyed. It was largely acceptable to like Taylor Swift, and not just her, but the feminine aspects of her as well. Her emotional vulnerability, her willingness to lean more towards the female perspective of desires and needs. She was able to show that you can be understood and respected, and you didn't have to look and act like a man while doing so. Taylor Swift remained girly throughout the whole time, never trying to pander to the male gaze. Of course, this was a moment that felt empowering, But now that the moment is over and fading in the background, are we as empowered as we once were? In October 2025, Taylor Swift released her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl. The album was marketed by Swift herself as a peek behind the curtain of one of the biggest female artists in the world. Fans anticipated the album to speak about the pressures of being on the biggest the biggest world tour. The biggest tour in the world, I apologize. And what it means to be so overexposed, overworked, all while still enjoying the attention, glitz, and glam of it all. That was not what occurred. The 12-song album consisted mostly of her professing her love for her boyfriend, now fiancé, Travis Kelce, and how she is just so happy to be in a relationship with him. She proclaims that all she wants is him on Wishlist, how he saved her from the fate of Ophelia, a woman who killed herself after being oppressed and abused by men, on the song The Fate of Ophelia, and how he has a big appendage. And don't worry, she's having the best adult time of her life, on Wood. The songs that were not centered around her being in love consisted of how she wished she kissed a boy from high school because now she doesn't have the chance, an alleged diss track against Charlie XCX that doesn't give enough tea on the situation, so it makes her seem like she's punching down instead of getting back, and a song called Cancelled that is about how she likes her friends canceled and how she is a part of some secret society where everyone has been heavily scrutinized by the public and media. This album did not receive a positive reception, mostly because of the current political climate that is taking place in the United States. Many felt that the album gave off Republican and trad wife vibes because one of the most successful female artists of the current times made an album mostly filled about how much she loves her boyfriend, instead of an album that was marketed as a reflection of herself and her life as a pop star. It inadvertently gave the impression that the biggest and most grand thing that she did during her time on the Eras tour was find a man. She completely disregarded her time of being a powerful female figure in the music industry, the narrative that allowed her to become so big again in the first place. This shattered a worldview for many fans and listeners alike. It dared them to beg the question, is Taylor Swift as progressive as she lets on? Is Taylor Swift a feminist? It took a mediocre album to disillusion fans and allowed them to question whether everything they were taught to believe in the first half of the 2020s was something that Taylor Swift actually believed. Or was it just a marketing tactic? I'll answer that for you. In my opinion, no. Taylor Swift is not a feminist. Not because she fell in love and wants to have babies with Travis Kelce, but because she only seems to care about feminism and empowerment when it pertains to herself. When she gets what she wants, she is no longer involved with the problem or the issue. Let me repeat that. When she gets what she wants, it is no longer a problem or an issue that she must speak out on. In the end, Taylor Swift got what she wanted. She got her masters back. She holds a massive amount of music records that will be near impossible to break. She will be remembered as a prominent figure in music history. She has yet to do any sort of activism or create any sort of discussion for women that exist outside of herself. To take it a step further, she has done nothing yet to be considered philanthropic. Oh my gosh. And although it was inspiring, the only person truly left empowered after the Eras tour is Taylor Swift. She is the one who was able to become a billionaire and be put into a position of power and status. But what about her fans? How did this elevate her fans to a higher level of power? How did this allow her female fans and listeners to find equal footing with men? It didn't. Taylor Swift's journey with feminism is individualistic. Her feminism stops once it no longer affects her. The fans that have supported her to get to this level are the ones stuck dealing with the consequences of selfish politicians, greed, and positions of disempowerment. Taylor Swift has enough money and power to protect herself and the ones that she loves. Can most of her fans do the same? and I'm going to end it there.